All right, good day, scholars. Today you're going to start learning how to use Photoshop. Some of you guys might be experienced with Photoshop, some of you guys might have never used it before. So we're going to start with something pretty simple. You'll see on our module here for the week of 8/23 on Wednesday, we've got our task here, and there's going to be a video. I'm making it right now. What we're going to do is you're going to make a collage for your desktop background. So we made those thinking maps on Microsoft Paint before. Right? Microsoft Paint's not the best, so we're going to use Photoshop this time. And you're going to make a collage using 10 images of decent quality. All right, so what we're going to do first is we're going to go to Google Image Search and we're going to download some pictures. All right, so I'm just going to open a new tab here. I'm going to go to Images and I'm going to find pictures of things that I like, basically. So I'm just going to type in, motorcycle. I like motorcycles. So we're going to go to Images. Here's a motorcycle, sure, that looks great. It's got a white background, that'll make it a little bit easier for me. If you choose a more complicated picture, it might be a little more difficult, we'll see what happens. So, we got our picture here, I'm gonna right click. It is 700 by 400, so it's not the biggest, but it's big enough for what I want, okay? I'm gonna right click here, right click. Save the image. And I'm gonna save it to my desktop. So you'll see, I've got my desktop here, I got a bunch of stuff. You guys have a folder, hopefully. If you don't got a folder, make a folder. I'm going to make a folder. I'm going to call it Photoshop Collage Assets. And all an asset is it's media that you're going to use in a project. So we're going to double click on here, and I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to name it something so I know what it is later, or I can search for it later, and I'm going to save. And you're going to do that with 10 different pictures. So find 10 things that you like. If it has a white background to it or a solid background to it, it will be easier to do. But if you pick a complicated picture, that's fine. You'll just have to work on it a little bit more. So once you have your 10 pictures, I'm going to use just the one. Let me download one more picture. All right? I also like cats, so I'm going to look for a picture of a cat. I'm going to download one more picture. But you need 10 of them. Okay? This one. This one's huge, fantastic. I'm actually going to, if I save image, that'll work. Cat, save. Now I got my pictures. Once you got your 10 pictures, what you're going to do is you're going to go to the bottom left of your screen and you're going to open up Photoshop CC 2019 and you're going to click on it. You'll have to log in with Google. You may have to click on a few things if it's your first time getting through. If it asks you for your personal, school ID, or enterprise ID, choose enterprise ID. But once you have it open, it'll look kind of like this. I've got a bunch of old stuff in here from a while ago. You might have some other stuff, that's fine. What we're going to do is we're going to create a new document. And we're going to be super specific with this. So you could, choose some different things here. We've got a bunch of options. We're going to keep it simple. First off, we're going to name it Collage. We're going to change inches to pixels. And we want the width to be 1920 and the height to be 1080. Because that is the height and width, the X and Y axis, the resolution of our desktop here. And we're going to leave everything else the same. And then we're going to hit create. Okay. From here, this is where you're going to be putting your images to make your collage. You can change the colors, play around with things, have some fun with stuff, but I'm going to keep it simple in this video. So we're going to fill this desktop background that we're making with the images that you downloaded. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File, I'm going to go to Open, and you know what? I'm going to go to Desktop, and I'm going to find that folder that I made. So what did I call it? I forgot already. Where is it? There we go, Photoshop Collage Assets. I named it something, it makes sense so I could find it easier, right? And I'm going to grab the motorcycle, and I'm going to hit Open. And you'll see it opens it in a new tab. You got tabs here. These are two separate things, okay? What we want to do is take this picture, put it over here. But what we want to do actually is we want to cut this picture out. So we have selection tools here. And what selection tools are is basically it allows you to select parts of an image in different ways. You have the fancy quick selection tool. So if I have the selection tool here, I'm going to make sure it's on plus, and I'm going to click, and you'll see it kind of tries to follow a normal pattern here, right? And you see how it messed up the wheel there? It also didn't get this windshield here. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to minus, and I'm going to add that wheel back in there. Okay, I'm going to go to plus, and I'm going to add the windshield in there. Is it doing it? Oh, I needed minus. That's my bad. I'm going to minus it, and I'm going to try and get that windshield in there. And it's trying, right? It's using a computer algorithm, and it's trying to select the things that I want to select. Oops, see, I made a mistake. I'm going to Control Z, and I undid that. I'm happy with this. It's not the best selection, but it will work. What I have selected here is not the motorcycle. I have everything around here selected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Select, and I'm going to inverse this selection. That just means to reverse it, basically. So now I have everything except the outside, right? I have all of the motorcycle selected, but not the white, hopefully. From here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to Control C to copy my selection. I'm going to go back to the collage, Control V. There's my motorcycle. You can see the wheels are kind of messed up a little bit. I'm not super worried about that right now. This is just a fun little collage. And you'll see it's in this layer here. Okay, if you want to get fancy with it, and you're going to have to name layers in the future, so I'm going to call this motorcycle. Okay, and this motorcycle is separate from the background. It looks like it's on top of it because it is, but I can now take this and I can move this around. So if I take my move tool here, okay, I can then grab it and I can move it around. If I want to get fancy and I want to say make it look like it's doing a wheelie, we're going to explore up here and see what we got. So under Edit, you'll see we have Free Transform. This is the one that I use the most. I usually use the Control T shortcut, so let's try that right now. I have the layer selected. I'm going to Control T, and you'll see it puts a little box around it, which means I can make it bigger or smaller. Okay? I can also go up to the corners here, and you'll see my icon or my cursor is changing to some little arrows. Boom, I got a wheelie going on here. Fantastic. I'm going to put it down here. Let's do the cat next. Okay? Let's see how the cat works. So I got my motorcycle. I don't need this anymore. I can close this. Let's open up the cat. File, open. Got my cat here. I'm going to hit open. This is a small picture. I downloaded the incorrect version. I could still cut this out, but I'm going to go back and I'm going to download the correct version. So right here, it's supposed to be 4500 by 3500 almost. I'm going to right click, open a new tab, and you'll see this is not a very good picture. I should have looked a little bit closer. Let's try this one. I'm going to right click, open a new tab. This is a nice big picture. So I'm going to save this one instead. I don't want to use that low quality picture. It's a CMS file. I'm not sure if that'll work. We'll try it out. This could go horribly wrong. I don't think it will work, actually. Let's try it, though. Mr. Flanagan makes mistakes all the time. Doesn't work, right? We need a JPEG or a PNG. Here's a quick tip. I'm going to take a screenshot of this. So I'm going to do Windows Shift S. Okay, and I'm going to take a screenshot. There's the screenshot. And you know what? I just took a screenshot. It's on my clipboard, which means it's saved. And I can just straight up go in here and I can Control V and put it there. Obviously, my canvas isn't big enough. Let's close that. And let's open a new one. Let's open the clipboard. Oh, this is cool. Create. Boom, Control V. There it is. Okay. Now we've got this picture. Let's cut them out. So I used the quick selection tool before, and I can select the background pretty easily. And you'll see it's getting part of his head because he's got some crazy hair there, right? So we're going to try something else. I just did Control Z to undo all those selections. You can use the lasso tool. This is manual. So if I click and drag this around, I can select different parts of the image. So right there, I'm selecting the white background. So if I go around and I just kind of chunk out these parts here, where his kind of head's a little complicated, I can select the white background manually. Okay, the computer is not using an algorithm to see if this is correct. I'm doing it by myself. Okay, and I am selecting everything except the cat. That's the easiest way in my opinion. You can select the cat instead, but I like to select the background and cut it out. It kind of reminds me of cutting out a piece of paper. Okay, so there's that. Now what I'm going to do, I have everything except the cat selected. I'm going to go to select. I'm going to inverse it again. Now I've got only the cat selected. So I'm going to go back to my move tool, Control C, go back to my collage, Control V. There's my kitty cat. And you know what? If I do Control T, and he's in his own layer, right? Let's rename that real quick, actually. Cat. There it is. Okay. Control T. When I have the cat layer selected, now I can have him over here. Let's have him peeking out the corner. Enter. We're good to go. Okay. So put your 10 images in here. Try and make it look the best you can. But you know, it's the first little project we're doing. You're just learning how to cut, paste, and use the selection tools. There are other selection tools up here you can play around with. If you right-click, you can get some other ones here. The Magic Wand tool uses an algorithm as well. You also got basic shape selections. So this is basically it. Once you're finished with it, you're going to go to File. So if you have your 10 pictures, right? You're going to go to File. You're going to go to Export, and you're going to export as PNG. Okay, and then once you have that saved, you are going to create and set it as your desktop background. And that's basically it. So get your 10 pictures in there, cut them out, put them in Photoshop, set it as your desktop background, and you're good to go.